which has been a handful, we'll be on the move somewhere. Not sure where.
Okay. Let me know if I can help with that virtual
Tell me about
school.
your book, man. How's your book going? I cannot wait to read it.
Yeah. Send one your way. It's called Limitless.
I got it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's doing well. It was an instant New York Times bestselling book. It was #1 on the Wall Street Journal. It's kind of sweeped every category on Amazon, you know, work culture, leadership, business education, performance, motivational, self-help. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your support on it and your blurb, and you know, your team is amazing.
You know, Jim, you're very, very smart. I'm not. I didn't go to college, so I hope you have the audio because I love the audio of books.
Yeah, it's on audio also. It's on Audible.
I love it. I mean, I'm addicted to that. I'm doing like a book a week. Right
Really?
now, I'm just finishing Ted Turner's book. It's been a great listen. And you'll be next, Limitless, which that's kind of Jennifer's name. She liked that
Yes.
name of the book, Limitless, because that was I think the name of her last tour or one of her songs or something like that.
It was. Limitless is a very powerful word.
She just said one of her last songs. I've been corrected now.
she would
Jim,
know.
First of all, I want to say thank you when you came down to the A-Rod Summit in Palm Beach. Everybody enjoyed you a great deal, and they really felt like you brought a lot of value to the company. And even though that happened about, it feels like 6 years ago, it was probably 6 months ago, everyone really enjoyed it and is still talking about it. So thank you for that.
No, I appreciate that. I think leaders are always looking to get to the next level, and a big part of that is the power of their mind. And so I wrote Limitless as an owner's manual for your brain, because your brain is the ultimate superpower, but it doesn't come with an owner's manual. So, you know, how do you focus? How do you remember things? How do you manage your mind in time of crisis? And that's the true wealth, for sure.
Love that.
Yeah, so Limitless, so we teach people how to focus and manage their mind in times of crisis, be able to learn new subject skills, read 3 times faster, be able to maintain their concentration in a world full of rings and pings and dings, help people who are absent-minded, you know, like senior moments are coming too early, like you read a page in a book and forget what you just read, or...
And Jim, let me ask you, how much of that has to do with, you know, lack of sleep, stress, hydration, dieting? Does any of that play a role in better memory?
It does. When it comes to, so as a memory coach, I help actors and athletes and, you know, founders be able to remember things. I believe 2 of the most costly words are I forgot. I forgot to do it. I forgot to bring it. I forgot that meeting. I forgot what I was going to say. I forgot where I put it. I forgot that person's name. And so there's no such thing as a good or bad memory. There's a trained memory and an untrained memory. There's no such thing as good or bad memory. It's trained memory and untrained memory. And so we train people's brain, and 1/3 of them happens to be about genetics and biology, but 2/3 of your memory is really your lifestyle. And so 10 things people could do right now to improve their brain power while they're quarantined. Number 1 is a good brain diet. You are what you eat. What you eat matters, especially for your gray matter. So good brain foods are like avocados, very good for the brain. Blueberries, I like to call them brain berries, good for the brain. Also, things like broccoli, eggs, if your diet allows, olive oil is good for the brain, green leafy vegetables, wild salmon, if you eat salmon and sardines, good for the brain. Turmeric is good for the brain. Walnuts are good for the brain. Walnuts actually look like the human brain. It's good for your memory. And dark chocolate, everybody. Dark chocolate's very good for your brain. So I would say, number 1, eat a good brain diet. And sometimes when we're at quarantine, it's tough, though, because we're just binge eating sometimes. And we have to, in the book Limitless, I have this quote. It says, life is the C between B and D. Life is C between B and D. B is birth, D is death, C, life, choice. That these difficult times right now, they can define you. These difficult times can diminish you, or these difficult times can develop you. You decide. We all decide collectively. And so deciding.
So thinking of that, Jim, what should people out there be thinking about? What should we all be thinking about in this time of great stress and difficulties? So when we come out of this, we're actually greater than we were prior to.
Yeah. So I would say, like, what's a story you want to tell your friends and your family a year from now? Not just what was going on in the world, but what was going inside of your life. And going back to life is the choices that we make. While the metaphor I'm using with clients is that of a butterfly. The butterfly is a powerful symbol for transformation. And we feel like we are in a cocoon. But here's the thing, when a caterpillar feels like it's the end of the world, it becomes that butterfly. And so while we're cocooning, we're alone with our thoughts, we're alone with our doubts, we're alone with our fears. We might be feeling alone. So here are 5 things everybody could do right now to come out of this stronger so you can soar. I'll give people 5 C's to remember it. The first C is clarity. While you're cocooning, use this time to clarify your life, meaning that sometimes we're going 100 miles an hour every single day, but we're not checking in with ourselves saying, are we going in the right direction? And then, so to get clarity on your life, ask yourself, what's most important to me in my life? What's most important to me in business? What's most important to me in a job? What's most important to me in my relationships? What's most important to me in my education, right? And then ask yourself a second question, which is, are my actions aligned with those values? Are my actions aligned with those values? Because some people self-sabotage. Because I feel like a lot of people who complain about being burnt out, it's not because you're doing too much. You're not burnt out because you're doing too much. Maybe you're burnt out because you're doing too little of the things that light you up, the things that you value most. So clarity is number 1. The second C you could do while you're cocooning is care. We know self-care is not selfish, right? I don't just mean physical hygiene. Yes, wash your hands and sanitize everything. Mental hygiene. What are you feeding your mind? Because just like there's an algorithm to Instagram, if you like every baseball post and watch every baseball video, Instagram's gonna show you a lot more baseball, right? It's gonna feed you what you engage with. Well, if you just watch the news and watch everything that's scary and threatening, the challenge is it's gonna show you more threatening and more darkness. And that means you can't shine a light on what you're grateful for. You can't shine a light on possibility and opportunity. Chronic stress shrinks your brain. Chronic fear actually makes you more susceptible to colds, the flus, the viruses. There's a whole area of science called psychoneuroimmunology. And so you have to control what's going inside your mind. And then after that, you have clarity, care, you have contribution. I think the antidote to fear, chronic fear that everyone has, is service. When you put your mind on somebody else, how can you invest your time, your talent, your treasure to making a difference right now? Like for us, for the book, if people are just joining us, we're donating 100% of the proceeds to build schools for children who don't have access to education, clean water, health care, and also Alzheimer's research, because I lost my grandmother to Alzheimer's, and twice as many women are experiencing Alzheimer's than men. So it's something I'm very passionate about. So how can you contribute your time, your talent, your treasure? Maybe it's as simple as picking up the phone and calling a neighbor who's older, more vulnerable, or making food for frontline workers. So you have clarity, care, contribution, and finally, the last 2 C's to come out stronger out of this cocoon is creativity. Creativity. Like, it was during the Great Plague that William Shakespeare wrote Macbeth. He wrote Antony and Cleopatra. It was during Isaac Newton, they shut down London, the university there. He had to go home, physically distance himself, and that apple fell on his head underneath the tree, and he came up with the theories of motion, the theories of gravity. What can we create? What music? What business? What ideas do you have to create? What do you want to write? So use this time to be a personal renaissance for you. And the last C, besides clarity, care, contribution, creativity, is capability. You have your to-do list, but you have a to-learn list. To-learn list. What's on your to-learn list? We know leaders are always learning all the time. And so you have unfettered access to YouTube, to podcasts, to audiobooks. You want to learn Spanish, you want to learn salsa, you want to learn speed reading, all that's available. So, I think the most important skill to master today is our ability to learn faster. Because if you can learn how to learn,
Jimmy, if you're a young entrepreneur and you're in your mid-20s, 30s, 40s, whatever, what kind of things can you do now to be better for later as far as networking? What should they be reading? What should they be doing?
Yeah.
Any tips there?
Absolutely. So if you're a young entrepreneur and you want to be able to start that business, I would say that the real key is to master 3 areas of your life. And I call it the limitless model. It's your mindset, your motivation, and the methods. Meaning your mindset is what you believe behind it, making things into habits and small, simple steps. And the methods are the how to do it, how to start a business, how to invest, how to read faster, how to remember names and stuff. And so I believe that really now people should not be downgrading their dreams to meet this current situation. That's a big mistake. Do not downgrade your dreams to meet this current situation. Upgrade your mindset, your motivation, and the methods that you're using to be able to meet your dreams and your destiny. Limitless is not about being perfect. Limitless is about advancing and progressing beyond what you believe is possible. So what you could do is even small, simple steps. That's really the key. The key to sustainable motivation is breaking things down into small, simple steps. Because thinking is good, but overthinking is not good. Wanting it to be perfect is not good. And so the question is, all you have to do is ask yourself, what is the tiniest action I could take right now to give me progress towards this goal where I cannot fail? So maybe you can't get yourself to work out an hour a day. Maybe your small, simple step is putting on your running shoes. Maybe you can't read 45 minutes a day as an entrepreneur. That's too big of a step. Maybe the small, simple step is opening up your book or reading one line in a book. Inch by inch, it's a cinch. Yard by yard, it's too hard. Little by little, a little becomes a lot.
Yeah, you know, and it's interesting because now there's so much great content out there. You can get on a treadmill, you can get on a bike, and I literally watch a couple shows or watch your favorite Netflix and incorporate something you really like with something you don't like as much. The other part that I used to love about, you know, Steve Jobs is he would have a bunch of meetings walking late at night, walking in the morning, going for hikes, and incorporating, again, something that you already have to do rather than sitting down and, you know, eating an extra burger or whatever at a lunch meeting. Say, hey, let's go for a hike, let's go for a walk. And you can have multiple productive meetings that you're taking care of two things, the meeting and obviously getting a little workout conditioning.
Yeah, that's another thing I would encourage everyone to do. They say that, you know, you need to move. Our body primarily needs to move all the time, because as your body moves, your brain grooves. It actually makes you smarter. You create brain-derived neurotropic factors, which is a fancy BDNF. It's like fertilizer for your brain to make new connections. But yes, walking meetings actually makes you more creative. When you listen to an audiobook or a podcast when you're on elliptical or a treadmill, it actually helps you to encode it and learn it and retain it better also as well. So stacking those things, very, very intelligent thing to do.
You know, it's funny. I always hear people saying you have to have the discipline to wake up early. And I hear that over and over again. But I think that's actually wrong. You have to have the discipline to get to bed at a decent time. And after dinner, start planning to sleep. And it sounds weird, and that means relaxing. It might be reading your limitless book, but not your iPad, not your phone, right? It's really to go old school. And the quicker you can get to bed in a healthy way, the easier it is for you to wake up and have a productive day the next day. So you have to prepare to succeed the next day. I used to always spend, for my mind, 5 minutes before I go to bed and visualize, how do I want to play the next day at Yankee Stadium, going up against the Red Sox? And I'm literally watching from the dugout, like third person. And sometimes I get in the Yankee dugout at first base. Sometimes I get to the dugout at third base and really watch myself, like number 13, facing a pitcher. And I always say, like, if there's never been a Broadway play that went on without rehearsal, ever, why would we play a baseball game or have a meeting or take on a big task without rehearsing? And it just takes 5 minutes at night, few minutes in the morning to rehearse how you want things to happen. And people don't give the mind enough credit. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. Really it is that if people truly understood how powerful their mind, think things they didn't want to be true. And it's that powerful. Like, your brain is like this supercomputer, and your self-talk and what you picture is the program that will run. So if you tell yourself you're not good at remembering people's names, you won't remember the name of the next person you meet because you program your supercomputer not to. But going back to your sleep is paramount. When you sleep, for your brain, it actually helps you consolidate short to long-term memory. So if you're having long-term memory issues, check your sleep. It also cleans plaque out of your brain when you sleep. That leads to Alzheimer's and dementia. But the third reason why you want to sleep is because that's where you dream. People don't realize this, but it was Paul McCartney came up with the song Yesterday in his dream. Like Elias Howe creating a sewing machine in his dream. Mary Shelley created Frankenstein in her dream. You know, so like, what are everyone's dreaming about? And here's the power of your mind. What you're doing is so intelligent the night before, because that's when your success starts for the next day. How many people watching right now, by a show of hearts, they have to get up early for some reason. They used to have to catch a plane or something else. They set the alarm for 4:30 and they wake up 1 minute before the alarm goes off, right? That's the power. Look at all these hearts. That's the power of your mind. And if you could do that with your mind, imagine what else you could do by visualizing things and have it work on it, that dream state at night. And then you could wake up, with new revelations, new learnings, and new inspirations. So unbelievably powerful time instead of being on your phone, because when you're on your phone late at night, there's a blue light in your phone and on your screens that tricks your mind into thinking it's daylight. So your brain doesn't create the melatonin to help you to relax. So really, that last half an hour of the day, when you're winding down into nighttime, get off your screens. I know it's hard to do, but your sleep would be so much better because of it.
Jim, I just learned something. You kind of gave a little instruction. I'm going to do the same thing. I got all these hearts now because of you. How many people are actually ready to go out and socialize a little bit by a show of baseballs and hearts? Let me hear it. Let me see it.
No, I love that so much.
So Jim, in closing, anything that I can answer for you? It's always great talking to you. I always feel like I learned so much. You're doing great work out there. Appreciate Limitless is going to be, I know it's a great book. I'm going to read it next. And the other part, the fact that you're donating, the entire proceeds to helping out is, again, shows that you're always doing, God's work. So thank you very much.
I appreciate that. I believe the formula for life is you learn so you can earn so you can return. Learn, earn, and then return. People could find out more about the book at limitlessbook.com. We give out 2 bonus chapters, Limitless for your kids, Limitless for building teams and learning organizations. We're also doing a 4-week free book club. And so that's where you can get all those bonuses. But I wrote the book for every individual right now who's struggling, that wants to be able to manage their mind in time of crisis, who wants to be able to optimize their focus and productivity when they're working from home. If you'll be able to support your children if they're not in school, to be able to learn a new subject or skill. So we teach you how to read faster, how to be able to remember names, how to learn languages, how to be able to adapt in a world where you need to be able to be at your best. And I really appreciate you. You're an inspiring force of nature, an unstoppable force for good. And these conversations, we're like talking about a butterfly. While the beauty is in the butterfly, the growth happens in the cocoon. And I want everybody to be able to come out of this and the best foot forward. And there's a butterfly effect too, right? You heard about the butterfly effect? It's just like viruses and fear is contagious. So is positivity. So is performance. So is wisdom. So is kindness, and kindness is free. So sprinkle that stuff.
Yeah. Well, I love that, spreading kindness. Also, I want everybody out there to continue to dream and believe in themselves, and miracles do happen. I always say that, Jennifer and I are 2 New Yorkers that grew up with holes in our shoes, and through hard work, perseverance, but really unlimited way of thinking is the key. And no matter who you are, no matter what education, no matter what gender, you can do it. If you believe it, you can achieve it. And waking up in the morning with thinking this is going to be the luckiest day of my life, get ready for success, and you will be successful. So I want to wish everybody great luck. Jim, thank you so much. I consider you a friend, and I love the work that you do, and I want to wish everyone a lot of health.
Can I challenge everyone to do one quick thing? One quick thing everyone could do right now. When you want to learn something,
go for it.
When you want to learn something, teach it to somebody else. The fastest way to learn is to learn with the intention of sharing it and teaching it to somebody else. Because if you had to listen to a book or a podcast or a live, and then you had to teach it the next day, your focus would be better. You would get vested in it. And when you teach something, you get to learn it twice. So I would challenge everyone to a small, simple step, is to screenshot this live right now and tag Alex, tag myself, and share your one thing that you're going to do. What one choice, whether it's care, or it's creativity, or it's a capability, something you want to learn that's brand new, or something you want to contribute, and then post it. And then I will repost some of the favorites, and I'll actually gift this book to a few people who do that, just as a thank you for participating and being on this quest to be able to unlock and reveal our fullest potential.
I love that. Thank you so much, Jim. Thank you everybody for jumping on with our conversation. There's Chloe. We have we have Jen. Jen's listening to your stuff. She likes it, Jim. Jim, thank you so much. And there is Jennifer saying limitless.
Yeah,
You see that?
thank you for allowing us to borrow that word. We play that in the office and our team all the time to start our Zoom. So we play that YouTube video.
Jim, she said, is no problem. Just send a check to jenniferlopez.com. Benny Medina will be in touch with you. Jim, thank you so much. Have a great time, man. And hopefully I will see you soon. Stay safe.
Stay safe, everybody. Bye now.
Bye now.